Yep. Did anyone help you, or did you do it all on your own?
Pretty much all on my own. So it's go like this. Okay, I also believe in consistency and common sense, right? So whatever it is, if you feel that it's wrong,
Yes.
right, it doesn't feel right at all, probably find another method, right? So it goes like this. Okay, so we talk about tracking, right? So let me think about it. Probably she is 5. That dog, that Ralph Gilby competed with Daddy Fatimona.
The female.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how old is that dog now? I think she's 5.
Okay.
She's 5. Okay. I have a little May at the time. She's still with me. The little May. And when she was 13 months, I didn't know anything about tracking. So 4 years ago, I didn't know anything about tracking. Right? So I went online and I typed, okay, shoes and tracking. So it came up with a video, right? I order it, and it's from Godfrey Dilda.
I watched that video.
Right?
Yeah.
So I get it from Godfrey Dilda, and then I truck on the snow. People were making fun of me, right?
Yes.
People were making fun of me, but I have some good friends. So, for example, let's say Mark Christian from Germany. He's a really good friend of Brahms, and he doesn't speak English, so he will talk to me through Google Translate, right? So about the coaching and the how say it, explaining, he's not so great.
Yes.
But all he could tell me, like, it's good
or it's not good.
or it's not good.
So you're Christian Mike?
No, Mark Christian.
Mark
Christian was EX owner. He won a BSP.
Okay.
And he's also a judge in Germany.
Okay.
Right? So he helped me a lot in the sense that it was like this. Okay? I sent him the video, and I said, I was so proud of my healing, and I said, and no good, the tail is too quiet. Then I have to figure it out on my own, how to make the tail active. Right? And then, of course, like experienced people, when I talk to AJ Singh, for example, like, and the same thing, I say, okay, you know what? Bond, he's starting to shoot the corners a lot.
Yeah.
What do I do? Should I put pressure? Should I do this? Should I do that? And he said, no, just do more corners. Right? And I have that with me until today.
Patience.
Right? Yep.
Application.
Yeah. And watch around and learn.
So the Godfrey Dildy tracking videos, I remember I watched them. I can't even remember when I watched them. It's basically he's tracking on dirt with dogs every footstep except on trial day, basically.
Yeah, so he foot in every step, right?
Yes.
6 weeks out before the IGP-1, skip the first leg only.
Yes.
And then go back to fully baited and just go in.
But see, that makes sense from a classical conditioning standpoint.
The dog doesn't even know any other way to do it.
They only know one way.
Right.
And then in the first leg, that's when in the trial the dog is going to see a first leg with no food. Well, he's going to see all of it with no food. But that first leg is going to determine how it goes. He's going to do that first leg and he's going to be like, oh my God, I've never been here before. There's no food. He'll panic. Or, oh yeah, I've been here before in training. The next few legs, there will be food.
There will be anyway.
There will be.
Get the dog to the end.
Yes, just keep going.
Right. And then
it's smart and simple.
And then Lost Lens, right? The trucking guru, right? It's funny because when I talked to him, a lot of people said, "You're training with Lost. You train Lost system."
Yeah.
I never met a guy.
Yeah.
And I sent him a message one. I say, "Stop doing this because I just keep stealing stuff from you, right?" What I find that is the his
oppositional pressure.
Yep.
Into the footstep.
When he put it straight up to fight down there,
yes.
I stole it and it was awesome.
To be honest, I did steal that too.
It was really, really good.
Yes.
Right. And then, the trials help you, right?
Yes.
So one thing at a time, when I went to the Czech National, it was alfalfa, right? And it was a really long track. And to be honest with you, until today, I think Bond deserves a lot more than that, right? but I got 88 at Czech National, I wouldn't complain, at a big event like that.
Yeah.
But he get to the point of, okay, the track was too easy,
Yes.
right? So he kind of lose intensity a little bit.
Yes.
And then I watched the guy next to me, like Marek Cherny, right? He got 98, right? That even though it's easy, the dog wouldn't make a mistake.
Yes.
So I said, okay, my dog was too free.
Yes.
And that's what I told you last year at the national tour. I said, your
You
dog
did
is
tell
too
me
free,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Okay, so you get system like Godfrey did. I get the dog into the perfect, methodical style, right? And then you get Lars Lance to put, to drive the dog more power into it, right? And then guys like top competitors like Marek Cherny is gonna be like, okay, now not only that, a bit more strict now. You can't make mistake, buddy, right? And then you learn from your own. So I remember last regional, right? And there's some story behind it. I don't think that the score reflects his ability at all. But I remember the last tracking video that I posted on Facebook. Lars Lance came in and said it was too easy, right? And now when you think about it, okay, how could a dog lose a track? It can detect cancer in your blood.
Yeah.
And how can the dog miss the footstep right in front of him?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that you can explain to that is they being careless,
Yes.
right? And making the track too easy is one of the reasons that the dog become careless.
This is why you can't do it exclusively motivationally.
Yep.
Because if there's just motivation, the dog might be motivated, but
Yep.
they will be careless.
Right. Yep.
And that's my problem a bit on the track is my dog is highly motivated, but
Yep.
it makes him a bit careless.
Well, classical conditioning and like motivational tracks, when you put a lot of food and stuff like that. So for example, to me, the ability to pick up food in every step is extremely important for the dog.
Yes.
So if I can challenge the dog for 1,000 paces, but if the next, with no food, right? But if the next day the dog walk by the food, I'm in trouble,
Yes.
right? Because that is gonna give me a much harder time to modify anything.
Yes.
So for example, let's say if I have a dog that's eat every step, right? I go for 800 paces with no food, and then I go back with food and the dog's still eating it. What does that tell me? Is that later, if I want to change the speed a little bit, I can put some pressure and make sure that and the dog have the food to recover.
Yes.
But once they start running past food,
That's a
that's
big
little
problem.
harder time because now you have to use a lot more pressure,
Yes.
right? And the dog gets nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Eventually they quit.
I've always, of course, used food on my tracking, but you've definitely convinced me to go back to using more than I typically used. I mean, I was always of the opinion, okay, well, we're trial prepping and, in the trial, there was going to be a long time with no food and the dog needs to be able to deal with this. But, balancing that with the vast majority of the tracks having tons and tons of food, I think there's validity to that. It keeps obviously you proved it with your dog, but there's validity to it. It keeps the dog slow, keeps the dog methodical if you're balancing it with pressure.
Because and this is true. Okay, so when people say, "Hey, your dog's just eating. He's not tracking." Right? It's a very, very valid argument.
Yeah.
Right? And I give them that. But my argument is I don't need to train the dog's nose. Right? Everybody knows how powerful a dog nose is.
Yes.
I train the style. Right? So that is the first thing Godfrey did that I mentioned in his video. And again, guess the first scene, one of the people was tracking in that video, guess who?
Joanne.
No, Lance Collins.
Is it Lance Collins? I know Joanne.
Lance was in that video, right?
Oh, yeah.
So IGP, we're training for the style, right?
Yes.
And you know what? The more you look at every exercise in Schutzen and you say, how smart were the founding fathers of the sport and the breed?
It has a huge impact. It means a lot.
They're really smart because they said, you know what? The tracking, why do we need to test the nose?
All dogs can track.
Right? Now we testing, well, obviously the skill of the trainer,
Yes.
but also can the dog take it?
Yes, the pressure, the
Right.
adversity of tracking like that, and we know
Right.
many dogs
Right.
cannot.
So if the dog can take it and excel in tracking, it passes on to the offspring, and the offspring can do search and rescue, can do
Yes.
hard surface tracking. They can run. It doesn't matter.
Yes.